You gotta
Yeah,
risk
but
it to get the biscuit.
no, you get lucky in fantasy.
Okay, so our next segment, hot topic here in the fantasy and chill war room. We have the topic of a handcuff. What is a handcuff? You might ask yourself. Here's how I would define a handcuff. So we know a handcuff, it's not just a backup running back. Okay. A lot of people think it's just a backup running back. A handcuff has to be somebody that if the starter were to get hurt or miss a game, is someone that you would 100% plug in and play and would be productive. Okay. So that's why I wrote some names down of productive handcuffs. There's some big names that aren't going to be on this list, or big teams, shall I say. For example, I own Christian McCaffrey. If Christian McCaffrey were to get hurt, his backup is that Bonifant guy. Forgot his first name.
Reggie.
Who cares?
Reggie Bonifant.
Is that
I would
really?
not. I think that's it.
It is.
Let me just pull that in. Reggie.
He is not a guy that I would pick up and start because I don't think that he would have any production in that offense like McCaffrey would. Another example of that. Fuck, I had one on my brain. Oh, Saquon Barkley was out for a few weeks. You weren't starting Wayne Gallman. He didn't do shit. He had one good week, but other than that, he could not carry that offense. So I don't consider those like big name have to have handcuffs. So what I've written down here is a list of handcuffs that I think must be owned, especially if you own their starter. Does anybody want to give any other thoughts on just the general concept of a handcuff before we go through these names?
I mean,
It-
I don't know. Some people believe in them, some people don't. But early in the season, I don't necessarily believe in them as much as late in the season, especially if you know you have a playoff spot locked up and it really doesn't matter what you do in your last few games. I just go ahead and get mine, especially like he's saying, it depends on the situation also.
Right.
But
So what Britt's saying is that early in the season, depth matters. I feel like because you have buys, you have people that get nicked up and stuff like that. It's nice to have a deep bench, but
well,
once you
and
get
you
close
don't
to
know
the
who's
playoffs,
going to be the stars of the year. You know what I'm
right, you're
saying? Like
still
you don't know
figuring
who's
things
going to be
out.
legit.
But we are now 10 weeks into the fantasy football season. We know who the studs are. We know everything we need to know. If you're a team that has already clinched a playoff spot or it's looking like is going to clinch a playoff spot, get your handcuffs any way possible. Whether if
yeah,
they're
or
free
try.
agents, try to trade for them. Well, the thing with Matt that we'll get into is Matt has just waited too long to try to make a move for his
False.
handcuffs. So
Well, not necessarily. Well, his handcuffs got drafted. Like that's a little ridiculous, and they have not hit the waivers at all.
his handcuffs got drafted, and they've shown recently that they're actually pretty damn good, which is going to make it harder to trade for them.
And that's another point too. Like, and also another advantage of having your handcuff is later in the season. If the team, the real life team, already has a playoff spot locked up, they might want to sit their starters. It's happened before. And if that does happen, then that backup becomes a fucking stud that week, which you will be starting. And I mean, it could cost you a championship. Last year, Damian Williams, I had him on my bench. I didn't win, but he was definitely a sure starter for me.
Well, that was a different circumstance.
Well, no,
Kareem,
but
Kareem Hunt got kicked off the team.
no, but why did I have him on my team?
It's a handcuff, I guess.
Exactly. That was my point.
There's
So
so
I'm going to run
much.
through some names here. Some of these guys are already owned. Most of these guys actually are already owned. Some of them should be owned. Some of them have shown already play this year. Like some of these guys are in. They're not exactly what you would consider like a true backup to where they don't play at all. They get some time, some touches. But I'm just going to go through them. So the newly acquired Cardinals running back Kenyon Drake. If you watch the game on Sunday, he actually might not even be considered a handcuff now. He might be
Yeah.
the guy because David Johnson. I don't know what happened to David Johnson, but Kenyon Drake, Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt played his first game on Sunday. Nick Chubb is still the guy there, but they surprisingly got Kareem Hunt a lot more involved than I thought they would. And so Kareem Hunt, if you're a Nick Chubb owner, you have to have Kareem Hunt because if anything were to happen to Chubb, Kareem is going to be a workhorse.
He
Roy,
is, but don't overspend for him though.
don't overspend for him. And I mean, but like
Oh,
we said,
now you don't want
if
to
you're just getting
overspend.
handcuffs, then you can trade a guy on your bench that's probably worth more because you're not going to play him anyways.
Yes, if you have a very deep bench, like Matt, give
Well,
away a few of your
I
guys
tried.
for handcuffs.
No, you tried too late,
Yep.
Matt.
Well, okay. Do you want to start this argument now, or do you want to wait?
Yeah, I want to start the argument because
Trade
there's
deadline.
Wait,
coming up,
guys.
wait.
Let's get to Matt's
Wait.
handcuffs. Let me just skip
Yes,
to the
there you
list.
go.
We have Latavius Murray because Matt owns Alvin Kamara, who's already been banged up this year. And then Alexander Mattison, because Matt has Dalvin Cook, maybe the most injury-prone running back in the league. So Matt has sat here for 10 weeks, done nothing to try to acquire these two guys.
Wrong.
Meanwhile,
No,
this
I don't
bench
believe
that he could have
that. I
traded,
think
like
he's
Jordan Howard and Golden Tate and Marvin Jones and just all this trash that he's not ever going to really play.
Trash.
And he
When
should
we just
make
talked.
a move to get these guys the whole season.
My turn.
Go for
Go
it.
ahead.
Okay, you say I waited too long for Latavius Murray, but before we started the live stream, I said it wasn't known that Latavius Murray was going to be a good handcuff until about 2 weeks ago.
No,
That's
that's not the point, though.
No,
When
that
you
is.
draft
No,
it-
no, no, no. Wait. That is the
Hold
point.
on.
Because why doesn't Ryan own Bonifin right now?
Because he's not going to be a good handcuff.
Exactly.
No. Look, no.
No,
You're missing the point, though.
You go, Britt. You go, Britt.
Can I jump in real quick? Latavius Murray, and I didn't believe, I somewhat believe this. People thought he was going to jump into the Mark Ingram role, which he would still be
Okay.
valuable.
Okay.
And so I thought he should have been drafted a little bit higher, but I'm looking at it right now from our draft. Latavius Murray went 1, 2, 3 in the 8th round. So, Matt, like you had a fair chance of getting Latavius. You took Marvin Jones over Latavius Murray.
That's not.
And then Mattison
Yes,
went
I
in
could
the
have
10th
drafted him.
round. Huh?
I could have drafted him, but the fact that people are drafting handcuffs.
They both went too early in the draft.
Yes.
No, I agree with that, but if you, it's kind of like what I mean. I regret this 100%, but I took Damian Williams and then I took Darwin Thompson in the 8th round or 9th round. Like I regretted that, but I knew if I would have taken Kamara, I'm sorry, I would have reached for Latavius Murray because he's so valuable. If
Yes.
Kamara goes down,
And I might have taken him in the next round, but the fact that you have people taking handcuffs that early is the reason why Sam might not make the playoffs now, because he has no depth. All he has is handcuffs, and he hasn't had one injury that happened to those starting running backs.
I told Sam earlier today, he has probably the best team we're ever going to see not make the playoffs or do shit.
Yeah.
His
and
wide
this is
receivers
why-
are Julio Jones,
Because he couldn't manage
Keenan Allen.
injuries.
Keenan Allen,
'Cause he's drafting
Devontae
handcuffs.
Adams, and he's got Barkley and Gurley. Pretty stacked
That
team
sounds good on paper, but they haven't performed.
at all.
And then if
He's
he would have
been
traded
shit.
me Madison for Tate, he wouldn't be fucking starting
Or
D.D.
Howard.
Westbrook in his flex.
Emmanuel Sanders walking to the locker room. Not sure
Okay,
what-
Matt, you said that you didn't know that Latavius would be a good handcuff. Latavius has proved it the last few years that he can carry a load.
That
as
is
a
true.
running back.
That is true.
Like, it's not like he just came out of nowhere. He's a veteran that's done it.
And he's going into an offense that utilizes 2 running backs.
It's pretty
We've
hard
known.
in the Saints offense to get touches and not be productive.
Let me bring up his stats because I didn't really look at it before this,
But look,
he
hey,
wasn't doing
look.
that well as the
In Matt's
Ingram
defense,
role.
though, this could be totally irrelevant.
I started him like 2 or 3 weeks last year on the Vikings, and he got me touchdowns.
No. But I'm saying the only way he becomes valuable, like we're saying, is if something happens to Cook or Kamara. Because Matt's still making the playoffs.
Right.
So if you look at his
So-
games before Kamara got injured, he wasn't even doing that well. He was borderline
Because he
droppable.
wasn't the feature.
He was. Latavius Murray was bad.
He was bad, and y'all are trying to say he was in that Ingram role when he wasn't.
No, I did not say that.
No. We were saying at the draft, people thought he was going to
Yeah.
be in the Ingram role. I saw him going, and when I was doing mock drafts, I saw him go as high as 6th, 7th round.
And then you figured out through week 5, oh, he's probably not in the Ingram role.
But hold on, let me ask you a question, Matt. If you would have taken Latavius Murray, you would never drop him. Correct? If you would have drafted him. There's no way you
He
would
had
have
been on your
dropped him.
team the whole season.
Yeah, there's no way you would have dropped him.
Yeah, because I don't know if there've been people, unless there was someone out there to drop him for. I might have.
No, you wouldn't, because he's
Oh,
way more valuable to you
yeah.
than anybody in the league.
Exactly. And that's why I feel like you should have reached for him. Look, you're
Not
not on
reached.
trial
People-
here, okay?
Other people reached for him before I could even reach for him.
Yeah,
No, but you didn't reach for him though.
I
You
don't
were
reach. When I
waiting
draft,
for
I
him.
don't reach. If you start reaching for
That's what
players,
we're saying. When you but if you take Kamara, I feel like you have to like I reached on Darwin Thompson. It was a terrible decision, but I
so what
felt
you
like I
could have
had to
done,
do it.
Matt, is you just said to yourself that Latavius Murray was god awful the first half of the season. Pick him up then for nothing.
no. But then why don't you own Bonathan right now?
Because I'm saying Latavius has proved it in the past that he can be a feature running
That
back.
is true. Yeah. Like if
Bonafin's gotten like
Yeah, and the
this many carries in his life.
yeah,
5. If you're listening, I held up 5.
some small hands.
Well, they do the job.
I never believed in Latavius. Still
Okay,
don't.
well, I'm telling you that he's had good.
Hold
He-
on.
He's been good in the
Okay,
past.
Matt, hold
His
on.
2 good games
If
he had
Kamara-
were against Chicago and Arizona.
If
2 of the
Kamara
worst
goes
run
down,
defenses.
Chicago. A
Chicago
good
has been
defense?
bad in the
they
run
have been
defense.
kind of bad. If Kamara goes down, though, you're starting Latavius Murray if you have him.
Well, now, yeah.
100%. That's what we're saying.
But I've already admitted I've tried trading for him, but I can't right now.
Too late.
No.
You waited. You waited until after he scored 30 2 weeks in a row.
And
You
I-
could
course
still go get him
Keegan's
right
not
now.
gonna
No,
trade
I
him out.
can't.
No,
I can't.
he
Matt
can't
can
for what
still
he
take
wants to
advantage
trade. Yeah,
of it.
I've seen the messages. He
Who did
can't.
you offer, Keegan?
Matt
Yeah,
Breida.
but Keegan's desperate. Yeah, you might have to offer him like Golden Tate or something now.
I offered
but
him Golden
No, he
Tate.
won't take that either.
now.
Offered him
Maybe
Kenyon Drake.
Keegan wants Dalvin Cook for him.
Yeah. We can move on. We spent a lot of time on Latavius.
Because not that I'm not necessarily blaming you for not having him. I'm blaming you for the thought process of why you didn't think you needed him.
true.
No,
Yes,
I never said I
But
didn't
hold
need
on.
him.
Because I've seen you try to acquire him the last few weeks. Like I said, you waited too late. But the fact that you thought a couple weeks ago when we were talking about this, that all you would offer for him was Golden Tate, who hadn't really done shit yet. I
No.
thought I was
In-
like, great Jordan Howard, and you probably could have got him, and you didn't.
in
Greg
Matt's
Jordan
defense,
Howard,
though,
the number 15 running back right now.
How many times have you played him?
Once, and I might be playing him in the playoffs.
Okay, there's my point. You don't know
In-
that though. But if
hold on.
Kamara gets hurt 100%, you're starting Latavius Murray.
In Matt's defense, though, he has always played fantasy like this. Like he does not value. He values like
And let me come back with a point there. In our defense, how many championships does Matt have?
I made the playoffs more than anyone. Sorry to
Zero,
say.
Matt.
he.
You got to
Yeah,
risk
but
it to get the biscuit.
no, you get lucky in fantasy. Matt's always had a very decent team.
Oh, he's always been good at fantasy, but sometimes good isn't great.
Well, yeah, I guess. I mean, great is better than good if that's what you're saying.
And we'll see.
don't
We'll
know.
see if Bonathan's worth owning when if McCaffrey goes down, and then you're gonna have to
I guess
have
we
him,
will.
and someone's gonna
He
pick
ain't
him
going
up.
down, hopefully.
Mm,
Let me knock
Yeah.
there.
I like that. Hopefully,
Because
is
you're
the,
always saying if Kamara goes down, I'm fucked. But if McCaffrey goes down,
No,
you're just
we're
as
not
fucked
saying
as
you have a
I
deep
am.
team.
Matt, we're saying that
just saying
Latavius Murray is completely different than Bonif, and that's the point of this whole list.
You don't know
I
that.
made. All these guys are guys that you would plug in and play 100%.
it's you can't even
Okay,
like
Royce
that's kind
Freeman's
of,
on the list. I don't know about that.
What'd you say?
I said Royce Freeman's on this list, so I don't know.
He's already been productive as a number 2. You remember that? You forget when I played you that touchdown he scored against you? Do you forget that?
they've been
2
splitting.
carries for 10 yards and a touchdown. I remember.
Yeah. Should we get back to the list?
Yeah. But I'm not talking about Latavius now, but my definition of a handcuff is if you have opportunity, if you're talented, and your team is somewhat talented. But like with Royce Freeman, he might get the opportunity, but I don't think he's very talented, and his team isn't very good. So I don't consider him a necessary like handcuff to own.
But he's already been a productive player.
That's back to our point though. Like Latavius is worth more because he does play for a proven team who runs the ball and is always going to be relevant.
Yeah, they looked great last week.
Okay,
Atlanta.
rest of this list, we said Drake, Hunt, and Freeman. Jamal Williams, he's another one that's already kind of a part of the offense. He's had some big games. But Britt is an Aaron Jones owner, and he has Jamal Williams because if Aaron Jones does go down, Jamal Williams is going to put up some points in that offense. Jalen Samuels, we're already seeing that. Jalen Samuels stepping in for James Conner. Didn't have a great week, yesterday.
I think Connor's gonna be back this week. So.
But Jalen Samuels, Matt Breida, once again, has already been productive for Coleman, but he's a guy that you need to own. Here's a true handcuff, Tony Pollard, because he's doing nothing right now. But I think if Zeke were to get hurt, Pollard would be productive.
And Zeke's one of those guys who's not getting hurt. I mean, knock on wood, I guess, but you do want Pollard, and you can get him cheap too right now.
Yeah. He's another. Sam owns him too, right? Doesn't he have all the handcuffs?
He does.
Okay, Austin Eckler. We saw what he does as the handcuff because he was the starter for the first few weeks with Gordon out, and he was very productive. Daryl Henderson and Malcolm Brown, I listed both of them for Todd Gurley. We already talked about Mattison and Murray. Rashad Penny, here's a guy.
Yes.
For Chris Carson.
Own
if you're a
him.
Chris Carson owner, make sure you have Penny.
Seattle's probably going to be playing for home field advantage or something.
Carson is also injury prone a little bit too.
Miles Sanders. I mean, he's kind of
fumbling.
Miles Sanders is splitting now with Jordan Howard. He's another one of those guys that's already doing stuff.
True.
And then Gus Edwards. If you own Mark Ingram, I would have Gus Edwards.
Yes, Turpin actually listened to my advice last week and went ahead and picked up Gus Edwards. So.
Is he really must own though?
And that
if I have Mark Ingram,
the way they're running now, I would say yes.
If I have a decent team and I'm going to make the playoffs, why not own Gus Edwards? There's no reason not to.
So Ingram, where they play the Bengals just recently, and they're up by 40. You figure, they're pounding the ball. I think Ingram ended up with 9 carries.
Not with Ingram though. Look, we're about to see. I already mentioned the defenses they're about to go up against. We're about to see. And Ingram does have a juicy playoffs.
Like Lamar is their best running back they have.
That is true. He's not a running back.
Oh yeah, my bad. He throws the ball a little bit.
I don't like labels, Matt.
Okay, so that was it ended up turning into what I thought it would turn into, talking about handcuffs, but it was a nice little discussion about handcuffs. So my main idea, if you own a guy that has a backup running back that you know is going to be productive if he were to fill in, just pick him up, own him. Don't be like Matt.
Hey, I could have picked him up. I would have.